it my turn to wish you were lying here? I tend to dream you when I'm not sleeping. Is it my turn to fictionize my world, or even imagine your emotions? Tell myself anything. Is it my turn to hold you by your hands? Tell you I love you when you not hear me. Is it my turn to totally understand, to watch you walk out of my life and not do a damn thing? Whoa, finally get away of the feeling that I feel, yeah. Oh, whatever, baby, whatever, baby. Take apart all that I am, anything that I would not do, done without you. Yeah, baby, done without you.
Hey, everybody. This is Cruella DeVille of WriAckRadio.
This is Kazi Kabir, WriAckRadio. How you guys doing?
And today we're going to get right to it. We're talking about black love, black relationships.
And before we go into the topic, I know the last podcast we did interracial relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not right that we did a podcast or stated our beliefs or opinions on interracial relationships without stating our own beliefs and opinions about black love and black relationships. So
let's get right to it. What do you think it takes to have a strong black relationship?
Trust, communication, dedication, loyalty, commitment. Time.
Somebody willing to be there.
Yeah, somebody willing to be there. It takes a lot, but not in the sense of a lot, you know, if that makes sense.
Actually, with the way that things are nowadays, I would say it does take a lot.
Yeah, it takes a lot because we have a lot of distractions as far as with media. And what I mean by that, with the distractions of media, as far as how they make it seem as if black love is not real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hate love and hip hop.
You hate it?
I hate love and hip hop. I hate the basketball wives. I hate all that. Like,
why do you hate it?
Because it shows like
the negative side.
The negative side of, you know what I'm saying, relationships amongst black people and black love. You know what I mean?
But the sad part about it is that that's going on in real life. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be a celebrity to be going through that. It's almost like artists imitating reality, and reality is imitating art.
Yeah.
You know, the imitations of life. So I just really feel like we need to step outside of ourselves and humble ourselves. That's a huge thing. This pride thing that we have going on is really bad.
Right.
And it has drawn such a huge wedge between black men and black women. And somehow we got to get back.
Yes, we really
to each other.
We need to get back to like the old TV shows, like, you know, the Huxtables.
The Huxtables?
Yeah, you know, the Huxtables type thing, you know?
Yeah, that's attainable. It's attainable.
Well, Family Matters, you know what I'm saying?
Shoot, I even go for Penny Proud, the Proud family.
Proud, yeah.
Penny Proud. No, I used to love her. I used to love that cartoon. But, I mean, you said trust, love. How about this word that's used in marriage? Honor.
Yeah, yes. Definitely.
Honor.
Yes, definitely honor.
Integrity.
Respect, all
respect,
that. Yeah, you know, all
loyalty.
That.
There's so many things that come into play when you talk about relationships, and it's not just black relationships. That's relationships as a whole.
Communication is very
communication.
It's very key.
Yeah, Yeah, and like you said, that certain level of respect has to definitely be there as well. Now, why do you think there's such an issue between black men and black women, and why we have such barriers when we relate to each other?
Pride.
Pride.
It
goes
pride.
all back to pride.
Pride. Not even that. Just generational curse. You know what I mean? With people, how people was raised. You know what I'm saying? A lot of single mothers raising kids. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Fathers not being in their son's life. So, you know, as far as like when you grow up and living by example, if you ain't really shown that, it's hard to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Adjust to it or whatever. If that
I understand what you're saying.
Like,
I grew up in a dual family home. My mother and father were there. They were married, and you know, we had the family dynamic there. We sat down and ate dinner together at the table, and we didn't have the TV on and stuff like that. So, I mean,
it can go either way. Like either you can repeat that cycle or you can break that cycle. Me, for example, don't want to take credit to myself, but me, for example, I grew up, you know what I'm saying, without my father, you know what I'm saying, being there. Had my stepfather was an example, whatever, but it made me grow up thinking like, well, when I get older, I'm not going to repeat the same cycle and just, you know what I'm saying, not be in a relationship or have that black love. I'm going to try to do the opposite of what I grew up in. If you know what I mean? So
me personally, I was kind of happy how I grew up. You know, like I said, my mother passed away when I was younger, so that's why my dad took to being single or a bachelor, widowed, whatever you want to call it. But prior to that, they were together. That's all I knew from the 12 years that I was alive and my mom was alive and with my dad. So I saw how it worked. It wasn't always pretty, but they got it together. They had 6 kids that were relying on them, and they did a bang-up job. So I salute any people, individuals who are able to stay in a relationship for a long time. I know that it gets rocky and you don't like each other at times and the things that they do. But at the same time, you love them, and certain times you just go on and you learn to pick your battles, right?
Exactly, but another, like I said, another issue, like I said, as far as the media and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, with this generation, with the media, you know what I'm saying, seeing TV shows like I mentioned earlier, as far as like the love and hip hop and everything. And if you're a child, you seeing this on TV and think you start to believe as if that's the right way to be. It's the right thing to do.
The thing is, the TV really isn't all that much of a problem now.
Social media.
Yeah, social media. That's what most of the younger people live by. You don't even, the Netflix and all that stuff. All that, please. They do it all. They do it all.
I believe it's another thing too. Like not trying to like turn this to a race thing, but white people don't want to see us bonded together like that.
But before we take it there, we have to focus on ourselves, and we see that we have an issue between how we relate to one another, and we don't do anything about it. So before we take it to that next step, that next layer. Before we peel that back, let's deal with what we're talking about right now, because we don't get along with each other and we know it, and yet there's nothing we're doing to make that relationship heal.
Right.
And that's actually leading into my next question. What do you think are some real solutions that could help heal the gap between black men and black women in our relationships?
You have to trust somebody. You have to trust each other. You know what I mean? It's hard to try to deal with somebody if you don't trust them. Because if you don't trust nobody, it's hard to believe in what their intentions are. Because here it is, okay, you say one thing, but your actions show another thing and all that, and I don't know.
And I think the trust thing goes deeper than the surface, because some people, they're talking about cheating. It's not just so much just cheating. It could be like trusting your mate to do what they said they are going to do.
Decision making things.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, all of that is all part and parcel of who you have to choose who's right for you and who meshes well with you.
And I believe behind every strong black man is even a stronger black queen.
Oh boy, you better say it.
And no, but that's fact. You know what I mean? Like that it is. That's a fact. You know, I believe that.
Oh, you know that. You should know that.
Oh, here you go.
You better know that. I mean, we go at it all the time.
Yeah,
we do.
Trying to take all kind of credit and everything. She don't even know today is our anniversary. Y'all forgot about our anniversary and everything.
Whatever. Whatever. We'll talk about that another day too. So, do you think that it's always been like this between black people in our relationships with black men and black women?
No, I believe this is something that just happened within the last 20, 30 years or so, maybe 40. Think about it. Example. Dr. King.
Okay.
Coretta was behind him. She rolled with him. They had all these allegations about him doing this, cheating and all that stuff, but she was still there with him. They still showed love. You know what I'm saying? That black love.
We don't know what was going on behind closed doors. It could have been holy hell
to be
given to him behind closed doors. We don't know. We can speculate.
Speculating, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah. Coretta could have came.
That was
busting at him. You never know. I'm just saying. No, I think that this is something that has started, like you said, more so recently. We have had strong ties prior to the integration laws, simply because we had to really stick together. That's who we had on our side. You know what I'm saying? So now here comes 1965 and these laws come about and now we're integrated, which, it wasn't all bad, but let's put it out there. Yeah, it was all bad. It was all bad. We thought we won, and then it was just like, oh my God, they took us under, sneak attack. Oh yeah, we can let you go into our schools, but here it is. We're going to not fund your schools, these inner city schools, like we do schools in the suburbs, and we're going to say it's based upon numbers from test scores, but we know what's up.
Right, but another thing too, I had a thought. Let me get that thought back, because I was just thinking as you were speaking. I meant to cut you off. Sorry, but
he meant to cut me off.
Yeah, I really did, because I had a thought, but I was respecting my queen.
Oh, there you go. There you go, because you know what I say is powerful.
No, but back to the question as far as why we don't get along as well as far as pride. Nowadays, and I don't even feel comfortable saying this, but I'm just being honest. Nowadays, it's like the roles have changed.
Oh yeah, you opening up something right there.
Opening up something,
yeah. Because the jock picture recently.
Yeah, no. Let me finish. not even the jock picture. Honestly, nowadays the roles have changed, where the women, especially the black women, have became more dominant, and that masculine force that came upon them, and they became more dominant, and the men have became more feminine. You know what I mean? Men are more tender. It's more women out here that's out here just grinding and hustling and doing whatever they gotta do for themselves and their kids. And then here it is, you a man, you want to be the leader, but at the same time you're not stepping up because you have this feminine trait, or not even feminine trait, you just tender.
The thing is, black men have been emasculated for years, and now it's to the point where it's a self-depreciating thing. Now you're starting to just dishonor yourself by doing things that you know